from Vancouver Island and the Gulf Islands. Our amazing and very diverse jurors went through 3 rounds, carefully looking through all the submissions to pick the selection of artworks you're about to see here. 2 weeks ago, they came on site to see the work firsthand, and they chose the award winners we are about to acknowledge. Our jurors are highly respected art professionals from a variety of backgrounds, and between them, they are familiar with large cross-section of working mediums and artistic styles. Michelle Jakes is a curator, art historian, educator, writer, and is currently chief curator at the Art Gallery of Greater Victoria. Celia Duthie and her husband Nick Hunt currently own and operate Duthie Gallery on Salt Spring Island. And Jeremy Herndl holds a Bachelor of Fine Arts from Nova Scotia College of Art and Design and a Master of Arts from Emily Carr in Vancouver. And if you want to learn more about the jurors, you can read more about them in your brochures.
Artists and viewers, we recognize there are many ways to express a broad range of human emotion and thought. And the stories behind the pieces are often unknowable and subtle. Sometimes they may appear obvious, but on closer inspection can be very covert. If you look closely, though, you can see the same feeling expressed in a multitude and of very diverse ways. The grief and anger of loss, the joy and beauty found in the simplicity of the everyday, seeing as an exercise in awareness, a respect for humanity, acknowledgement of life in all its myriad forms of our natural and our man-made environment. In the visual arts, we as artists work with many of these constructs, emotions, and concepts, bringing the unformed into form through the variety of materials and processes we find connection with, creating a visual language that hopefully lifts the viewer momentarily above the mundane. Some call this magic, and indeed for me, the process of creating is always surprising and full of mystery. Now on to the awards. This year, the 5 people on the adjudication committee made the brave suggestion to change things up a bit. So we did away with traditional media-based awards of 2D, 3D, ceramic, fiber, etc. that we've had before, and we gave the jurors full rein to give out awards based solely on the merit of the individual pieces, regardless of the medium. The 8 major awards that used to be noted by category of material are now simply called Awards of Excellence. So please feel free to cheer for your friends and associates as they receive their award. I'm now going to hand the mic back to Karen.
There are 5 honorable mentions presented tonight. Our first honorable mention is sponsored by the Sooke Harbor House. Frederic Philippe, could you please join us? This is awarded to Sunday Morning by Tatiana Engermeyer. Sponsored by Roads End Contracting Limited, it will be presented by the Society on behalf of David Ding, awarded to Hillary Working Pulp Mill by Judy Kuhn-Yunjik. Sponsored by the Market Stores, will be presented again by Society on their behalf, awarded to Untitled by Fred McLean. Sponsored by Epcor, Dan Skidmore. Somebody? He's not here? Okay. So again, the Society will present on his behalf. Awarded to Oceanography by Roxanne Martin. Smile for the camera. Sponsored by Four Beaches B&B, Allison Hogan. We will present. Okay. Okay, we'll present on her behalf. Awarded to Carousel Teapot by Judy Wheaton. Fine Art Show, our jurors are given the opportunity to choose the piece they personally admire the most. The first Juror's Choice Award is sponsored by Point No Point Resort. This award will be presented by a society on their behalves. For juror Celia Duffy. Awarded to Fido Lopez by Michael Robb. Sponsored by Sooke Community Arts Council, Sharon Buzzard Grove. This is for juror Jeremy Herndl, October Moon by John Mortensen. Sponsored by Remax, Camosun, Victoria, Diane Devlin. For juror Michelle Jake, Waiting on the Rocks by Deb Thurlbeck. We're now going to the Jan Johnson Memorial Award. For those of you who have had the pleasure of knowing Jan, an extremely talented metal artist and avid supporter of the Sooke Fine Art Show, whether through his art or his words, Jan always had a strong point of view.
Well, large make you laugh. Yeah, it's to be like good bread or something like that. Make you feel better, well, or make you feel worse, but it shouldn't make you feel soft.
Sponsored by the Jan Johnson Memorial Fund, this award will be presented by his widow, Mary Alice Johnson. This year's Jan Johnson Memorial Award for Best Social Commentary goes to Jenny Waelti-Walters for War Games 3. to a resident artist of Sooke working in any medium. Representing the District of Sooke is Acting Mayor Maya Tate. This recognition is awarded to Sawyer by Chad Johnston. And clearly doesn't understand the rules. Now on to our awards of excellence. We are presenting 8 of those tonight. Our first award of excellence is sponsored by Island Blueprint Company Limited. Merle Duffus, please. Sponsored by KB Design, Keith Baker. Awarded to Empty Windows number 4 by Seth Berkowitz. Sponsored by Island Vacation Homes, Rob Martin. Awarded to Shoreline, a Shoreline by Barbara Ann Burke. Sponsored by Tom Lee Music, Graham Fullerton. Awarded to Entrance 3 by Jane Francis. Sponsored by Key Core Development and Marketing, Corey Elliott. Awarded to Hope Container by Derek Casper. Sponsored by Woodland Creek. This award will be presented by the Society on their behalf. Awarded to Princess Grace of Atlantis by Susan Kosh. Sponsored by Butler Brothers Supplies Limited, Brian Butler. Awarded to Delicate Balance by Emmy Sparks. Sponsored by Sooke Home Hardware, Bob Tully. Awarded to Workshop Demolition by Nicola Weston. Design Committee Award is sponsored by the Sooke Fine Arts Society. Loretta Fritz, head of the Design Committee, will present the award. This year's Design Committee Award, which will grace all of next year's show publicity, goes to Rhyming by Iris Nardini. Next year is our 29th anniversary, and we're already planning it to be a spectacular event. And of course, what follows number 29 is the grand number 30. So everybody get ready to go, because we're so excited about that year coming up. Start planning now. At this time, we'd like to congratulate and thank all of the amazing artists accepted into this year's show, to our very generous sponsors, and indeed to our wonderful army of volunteers. We know you're all anticipating to see the work that makes up this incredible must-see show. I'm so excited about this evening's entertainer, who happens to be one of my personal favorites. We are fortunate to welcome the award-winning, stunningly soulful jazz singer Maureen Washington to take the stage. And everyone, please enjoy the Sooke Fine Arts Show 2014.
it's a very easy process for me. Kids come involved, and kids can come and tell me, Daddy, you should put this one in, or Daddy, you should put this one in. And I like the honesty, and it works really well for me. So when I had these pieces, once I like something, I generally put it away on the top of the dresser, and I leave it there until it comes by. And there was, different subject matter. I haven't put boats in for a while, and the Chinatown was a bit more colorful, and I wanted to get a mood in a rainy scene, so it's a variety. I didn't expect it to have all three of them here, but there they are. Couldn't be happier.
You want me to talk about my work. So the new series, and I'm working on train stations. So I find that they're nostalgic, they involve romance, meeting strangers, they involve people going to work. I love that before we had automobiles, everybody got onto a train, and there wasn't really a class structure, except, well, maybe on the train, but not in the station. And people were coming and going, and they have a real, I think, effect on people in terms of history. And I had a couple of women who were looking at the painting and got quite emotional because they felt like it was something from the Second World War, like Warsaw, and a station in that way, which I had no idea about, but I guess it came out that way for them. And these paintings are, I guess the costumes that the people are in are kind of timeless, or they remind people of a time, very far back, I guess. And so they're just kind of coming out of my subconscious, and we'll see where it leads to.
talk about the inspiration behind this piece?
These are the kinds of pieces that I do when I get really fed up with the way the world is going, right? So it's like, hasn't the world got any common sense? Why do we have to have this war? And everybody who gets trapped in it, like the kids, right? And nobody seems to be taking it seriously. They just shoot people, you know? And yeah, that's just the way it is. And the color scheme is, you know, because it tends to be in dusty desert kinds of countries right now. And I have some others where the soldiers are all shooting at each other. Nobody knows who's shooting at whom or why, you know? Meanwhile, all these people die. And the kids go on trying to play. And it drives me crazy, you know? And normally I don't put these out because people don't want them, right? But you knew Jan, I knew Jan, and I thought, yeah, put them out for Jan, you know? So here we are.
Okay, I'm really pleased to have a painting in the Sooke Fine Arts Show, and this painting is quite a departure from my usual work. I wanted to do something in very vivid colors that were amplified by the black borders, so that was the main reason behind it. And this, like many of my other paintings, is very architectural, and it reminded me after I had finished it of almost charred, burnt remains, and sort of the glow that comes off of them in the dark. So that's the history behind this piece.
With programs tonight on Jamaica, that's a short of that.
The motivation for my seal at Esquimalt Lagoon was I'm in a photo group and we were doing something with water. I was waiting for it to rain. It never rains. So I already had the idea in my head of the seal in a suit, and I actually found a cigarette. We don't smoke. And I thought, well, if it's not going to rain, I'm going to have the seal smoking, waiting for his love to come wherever she's going to come from the water, find him on the rocks. So that's where waiting on the rocks comes in. And also, as a photographer, I was working on smoke. So I was trying to capture the smoke against the suit. And I think I captured that. So that made me happy, even with the rest of the photo. Was I've just got the smoke curling up. And I tried Scotch. He got tired of smoking. The Scotch is another photo. So, and eventually his lady will come. That'll be another photo after that. But I just think he looks good, sitting there, wide-eyed, smoking.
Hi, Efren. How are you today? Good, good. So we're here at the Sooke Fine Arts, and I have had these two pieces accepted in. This year I decided to go with some smaller, more intimate watercolors, and I've actually been really pleased. I've walked around the show and there's quite a few watercolors this time. Sometimes there's no watercolors in the show, but this year I decided that I wanted to put some small works in, some small watercolors in, and it's to show the beauty of the medium. And so I was really pleased when these two pieces got accepted. Yeah, it's a good show.
This piece was inspired by, I read about the phenomenon called the sailing stones, which happens in a lake bed somewhere in California where the lake bed dries out and it's a Salt Lake Flats, similar to where they do Burning Man. And what happens is this phenomenon where these stones will move, and they move at different rates and at different times, even if they're in close proximity to each other. And you see the trails of them, so you don't actually see them move. There's the evidence of movement, and I thought that was just this beautiful, unsolvable phenomenon. It's completely benign. Like it's not going to ever change anything in politics or economics, but it just seemed to be beautiful in its simplicity. And I was thinking about it, and I realized it's a beautiful metaphor for something that's really absurd, a stone that moves. So I took that, and at the same time I was reading a lot about pataphysics, which are the science of imaginary solutions, similar to Edward de Bono's lateral thinking, which was about creating alternates rather than deductive reasoning. It was about creating the broadest possible solution to a problem rather than the most succinct, clear solution to the problem. And I've always done a lot of modeling when I was younger. I was always into miniatures, and it seemed natural for me to take the subject matter of the sailing stone but combine it with a model making skill set which I hadn't used in years. So I started making a bunch of these sailing stones, which are a series of stones which I find on the West Coast, and I make a sailing rig on them. Some of them based off real ships. In this case, this is a lateen sail off a dhow, and I've made some that are impractical, like they wouldn't work as real ships, but that's the point, is it's a stone, it doesn't work. So there's this play of the absurd and the practical because they all work. I made real working rigging sails, but it's a stone, so it wouldn't work. So there's a surrealistic, pataphysic way of finding an alternate solution to this phenomenon that is just beautiful in its banality.
This is my black and white photograph that's taken with black and white infrared film, which doesn't exist anymore. And I sepia toned it as well, which the Kodak doesn't make that anymore either. So using materials that don't even exist anymore, which is kind of sad. But what I like about this, using these materials, is the infrared sees right through the water and you see things that you wouldn't normally see just using regular black and white film. Makes it kind of mysterious. And you don't really know what you're looking at because the surface holds a lot of detail. Yeah.
So where it was taken, the picture?
Oh, it was taken in China. When I went on a trip to China and photographed, went on a couple of trips within the country and photographed what I could. Just walking around some of the towns that I was in was amazing because it's so different from here. Yeah, I love traveling. Yeah, and there's a lot of bamboo forests in this area. That's why I chose the frame that looks like bamboo. There's huge forests there.
here with the jurors of the Sooke Fine Arts Show, Jeremy Herndon and Michelle Jack. How was the experience for you?
Well, I think the people who run the Sooke Fine Art Show, they've really got it down to an art, putting on a show like this. And they really made it a great experience. It's a pretty big challenge to look at, I think it was more than 1,400 submissions. But they've got the administration down pat. And then when we came in to do the awards jury, it was just such a wonderful sort of community experience with everybody who's involved in the show coming together to make it a good experience for all of the jurors. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a very streamlined process as well, from going through the 1,400 or 1,500 entries to, you know, their hospitality when we came here. We had note takers accompany us as we went around and looked at all the work and reviewed the work and discussed the work. So it was, they really made it, I mean, there's a lot of work to look at, so it was a big job to do. It was very, very challenging because you have to be receptive to all these different types of work and in that number as well. So they really made it as simple and streamlined as possible. It was great. They're sweet people too.
Because Carter Sooke also likes to pretend that he's somehow judges you on your phone. So yell it out.
You guys worked your butts off today, so we appreciate it. Thanks for all the extras you provided.
Hi, I'm Catherine Keogan. I'm the Executive Director of the Sooke Fine Arts Society, and we're here at the Sooke Fine Arts Show, where we have 380 works of art on display right now by island artists. So all of BC's coastal islands are included, from Vancouver Island to Haida Gwaii, the Gulf Islands. We have quite a broad range of representation, as well as visual arts media, including fiber, jewelry, two-dimensional, three-dimensional works. It's quite a range. The Society has been operating the Sooke Fine Arts Show for 8 years now, but this is actually the 28th anniversary of the show. It used to be run by the Sooke Region Museum, and we took it over some years ago. We're coming up on our 30th anniversary, which is very exciting. The show is juried. We allow for digital submissions, so any artist who's resident on the islands can submit work to be juried by a panel of 3 jurors who are different every year, and they select the works that will be in the show each year. This year we had about 1,500 submissions, which resulted in the works you see here today. This is all done entirely by volunteers. The gallery is built from scratch each year. It takes us about 5 weeks to do it. There are 300 volunteers from the local community, many of them artists or art lovers or just people who love their community and love what this show brings to the region. It's actually a transformed hockey arena, if you can believe it, but we believe it makes for a world-class art show.
This year, what are the changes in the show?
This year we've changed our awards. Each year we select a number of awards for outstanding pieces on the floor. These are selected by the jurors themselves in person. Previously we had awards given out by category, 8 major awards for the 8 major categories. This year we decided that the work would be awarded based on the individual merits of the piece, so without constraint in terms of the medium that the work is made in. However, it has resulted in a very broad range of works being recognized, and I do believe every medium has been represented, so it's a real testament to the fine work that's done across the visual arts mediums.
Do you have any age limits on the show?
No, anyone is welcome to submit work, and this year actually we have an 11-year-old nature photographer who is exhibiting work in the show, a young lad by the name of Liam Singh, and he's exhibiting alongside his father Sandhu Singh, who's a wonderful watercolor artist and has been in the show several times before, so we're very excited about that, and I think it's a great encouragement to young artists who show talent and early promise, and we hope that they will also submit. On that note, we do have a youth art gallery here in the show, which features 100 works of art by local youth, and some of it's quite extraordinary. Our jurors felt that many of those pieces could also be in the show, so we do encourage young artists to participate in the Sooke Fine Arts Show. There are many artists who find their first footing here at the show, and we've heard comments from several that the Sooke Fine Arts Show was instrumental in launching their careers.
It's kind of like my jellyfish and my seed pods and
Hello? Tommy got a haircut. Yeah? You got a haircut? Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Thanks, up, Brad.
How are you? Hey, good. And yourself?
I'll ride the lake tonight, black